on May 27th. Then, on June 3rd, Elon Musk posted on social media platform X. He called the bill a disgusting abomination. 2 days later, during very early hours of June 5th, Musk made another post. This statement was addressed to Americans to kill the bill. Musk said he rather urged Americans to call their senators, to call their congressmen in a bid to kill the bill. After repeated remarks by Musk, rather bashing the bill's debt provisions, Trump finally addressed his billionaire friend's criticism. The US president made many claims about how Musk was aware about the details of the bill and that the Tesla owner is now acting crazy.
But I'm very disappointed because Elon knew the inner workings of this bill better than almost anybody sitting here. Better than you people. He knew everything about it. He had no problem with it. All of a sudden he had a problem, and he only developed the problem when he found out that we're going to have to cut the EV mandate, because that's billions and billions of dollars, and it really is unfair. We want to have cars of all types. Electric, we want to have electric, but we want to have a gasoline, combustion. We want to have different. We want to have hybrids. We want to have all. We want to be able to sell everything.
Shortly after these remarks from Trump, everything fell apart in a couple of hours. A disagreement and mutual disappointment turned into a bitter battle of accusations and hasty decisions. Elon Musk launched an attack on Trump through a series of tweets. The billionaire said that Trump's claim on knowing the bill's details was false and it was passed in the dead of the night. Then Musk said that Trump would have never won the election without him, without his support to Trump. Democrats would control the House and Republicans would have a narrow margin in the Senate. Trump retaliated to the series of posts on X, on his Truth social network, claiming he asked him to leave. The US president said he took away his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electrics, and that made him crazy. Trump did not stop there. He threatened Musk's massive government contracts. On Truth Social, the US president said that the easiest way to save money in budget is to terminate Musk's governmental subsidies and contracts. This triggered Musk to drop what he called the really big bomb. He said Trump is in the Epstein files, and that is the real reason it has not been made public yet. Also, in reply to the president's statement about cancellation of his government contracts, Musk announced that SpaceX will begin decommissioning its Dragon spacecraft immediately. For the moment, it appears that there will be no talks between the American president and his once close aide. According to reports, Trump and Musk will not be holding a phone call to smoothen things out. Well, amid the escalating spat between Elon Musk and Donald Trump, Elon Musk has invoked the Epstein files, which have long been a source of endless speculation and conspiracy. In a social media post on X, the Tesla boss accused Trump of being named in the Epstein files, saying that it is the reason the files remain sealed. Calling for Trump's impeachment, Musk alleged Trump's connections to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. This comes as the US president threatened to cancel federal contracts and tax subsidies for Musk's companies. In an extraordinary explosive breakup between the former allies that played out on social media on Thursday. While Musk did not provide any evidence to substantiate the claim, he shared posts hinting at the past relationship between Trump and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, who had died in jail in 2019. Disgraced as a sexual predator and a host of charges of prostitution of minors. Epstein files refer to a collection of evidence gathered by the investigators working on the multiple criminal cases brought against Epstein and his aides. It includes a list of those who sexually exploited and abused dozens of minor girls with the help of sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. While many other court documents have been made public, others remain sealed. Some conspiracy theorists have suggested that the FBI withheld the documents to cover up the guilt of Epstein's high-profile associates. For months, Trump administration officials have faced mounting pressures from Democrats to release the remaining investigative documents linked to Jeffrey Epstein. For more on this, our correspondent Susan Tehrani has sent us this report.
There is growing noise online after Elon Musk hinted without evidence that President Trump may be connected to Jeffrey Epstein more deeply than previously reported, like when the Trump administration back in February released part of the Epstein files showing that Donald Trump and his family were on Epstein's private jet back in the 1990s once and not en route to Epstein's infamous island. Trump had already distanced himself from Jeffrey Epstein years ago, and it is widely known that he threw Epstein out of his Mar-a-Lago resort again years ago. As for now, there is no verified documents tying him to any crime. Does Elon have evidence? Well, time will tell. As for the Epstein files, the FBI and courts control those documents and not the president. So the idea that Donald Trump is sitting on some sort of explosive file that he can release right away is fiction. Elon throwing out accusations implying pedophilia without proof after closely associating himself with President Trump along with his minor children. Well, this might be the final fracture in this long alliance. Susan Tehrani reporting from New York for WION World is One.
And we were earlier joined by Greg Swenson, Chairman, Republicans Overseas UK Foreign Affairs Analyst and economist. This is what he had to say on the Epstein files that Musk claims Trump's name is included. Take a listen.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, it's probably important for President Trump, given the number of people that might be in there. I mean, it could be even, President Bill Clinton, and it could be some, big bankers that were affiliated with Epstein. But, the Epstein, that affiliation with Trump or relationship with Trump is kind of old news. I mean, it's very public that they were friends at one point, like many big businessmen were at the time. But President Trump, actually had Epstein removed from the membership at Mar-a-Lago. And so, he's been very clear about that. So I don't think there's any vulnerability there. And by the way, if the Democrats, if there was any chance that there's information in the Epstein files that would damage President Trump, I assure you the Democrats would have leaked it already, because they've had that information for years, or at least some of that information for years. And look, they did the lawfare, the weaponization of the justice system, and you had assassination attempts. The Democrats have done everything to ruin President Trump. Believe me, if there was anything in those files, they would have been leaked already.
It has been close to 24 hours since the very public spat between US President Donald Trump and Tesla CEO and billionaire Elon Musk. But it has raised some very important questions on the ramifications of this rift. Two of the biggest issues that may witness an impact are, number one, very clearly, the big, beautiful bill proposed by Trump. The intense disagreement between Trump and Musk comes at a time when the bill is slated to be debated and voted at the US Senate. The budget bill passed by just one vote at the House of Representatives late last month. The stakes are now high in the Senate, where the administration can afford to lose only 3 Republican votes. In this scenario, that all Democrats vote against it and there is no abstention, with Elon Musk now escalating his attacks on the debt ceiling provision of the bill, there are chances that more rebel Republican lawmakers will feel emboldened to either vote against it at the Senate or push for greater changes once the bill comes into discussion. The bill contains a provision for $2.4 trillion in deficit spending over the next decade. According to the Congressional Budget Office, it also relies on $2.8 trillion in revenue from Trump's broad tariff plan. But the CBO warns the tariffs will raise inflation by 0.4 percentage points in both 2025 and 2026 and reduce annual GDP growth as well. This brings us to the second issue on hand, that's Trump's reciprocal tariffs and the global perception this spat will cause, particularly at a time when Washington has cornered several countries over tariffs. The tariff that Trump imposed on almost 90 countries is currently on hold. The US president announced a 90-day pause that expires on July 9th, just over a month from now. During this time, the White House has asked trading partners to submit their proposals for negotiating the tariff stalemate. But after this internal spat between Trump and Musk, doubts now arise on how the world will view the American administration. Also, so is the question here. Will countries use this opportunity of the internal rift between Musk and Trump to push back against Trump on reciprocal tariffs? And joining us live on the show right now is Raymond E. Vickery, former U.S. Assistant Secretary of Commerce for Trade Development and Senior Associate at the Center for Strategic and International Studies. Welcome to WION, Mr. Vickery. First up, with, of course, both Trump and Musk trading insults on online, on the social platform, what kind of consequences will this have on Trump's major tax cut bill, which is already teetering on the edge?
Well, thanks very much for having me. You know, I'm a strong supporter of the world is one approach, and I'm glad that this issue is being covered so thoroughly. I think in the first instance, of course, you look at this as a power struggle between two very powerful egos, some might even say egomaniacs, and it is interesting just as a matter of watching two people of power fight. But beyond that, there are very serious issues which are being raised by this. The Trump administration has shown that it does not adhere to a rule of law or constitutionality, that it believes in the strongman theory of government. And Elon Musk has subscribed to the same thing. Great democracies like India and the United States can't run on just personalities. There has to be an adherence to the rule of law, to constitutionality, to institutions which protect the average man and woman in building peace and prosperity throughout the world. I think a separate issue here shows the dangers of trying to conduct politics and government through cyberspace, through some sort of reality TV show. In a way, President Trump welcomes this approach. He had 14 years on television and reality TV, and this is a way to go forward. I think also there's a lesson here for other countries. We need the support of other democracies, but what we don't need is an approach which accelerates this movement toward individuals, the picking of particular politicians in other countries to support, as opposed to supporting values and institutions. Right. Domestically, we've got strong issues here in regard to tariffs, as we've pointed out, and in regard to the deficit. So this, if it weren't so funny as a soap opera, you would see that underneath it we have some very serious issues at stake here.
Right, Mr. Vickery, you do speak of how the spat has opened up various questions, and you did mention tariff, on which I want to follow up and ask you on Trump's economic policies, and perhaps the question being, will Trump's tariffs in the long run leave U.S. in recession?
Well, I think there's no question it's going to have these tariff across the board, the so-called reciprocal tariffs. trying to put 26% across the board on Indian imports, for example, even higher for some other countries, is harmful. In the United States, Trump got elected on his economic management, in part, economics of inflation, and this is going to only add to inflation. The tariffs haven't really kicked in yet, and already we're seeing an uptick in that regard. So it's very very serious, and it doesn't make any sense at all. What President Trump views international trade is some sort of real estate transaction, where I win, if I win, you lose, I make money, you don't. And he seized on these trade deficits as some sort of measure of the unfairness or illegality. There are a lot of reasons for deficits, including the United States having a reserve currency which enables consumers to spend beyond their means. So looking at it that way is completely wrong. And this was the original fallout between Musk and President Trump over tariffs. And then it's accelerated from there as these two, as I say, very strong egos have a power struggle as to who is the greatest. Musk says, I put in $288 million in a campaign. Trump says, oh, no, I would have won it regardless. So it's just like two teenagers.
Right, Mr. Vikri, we'll wait and have to see if there are any hopes of patch-up at this point of time. But thank you so much for joining us. Race to Power with your insights.
Thank you.
And breaking news coming in at this point of time from Bangladesh, where caretaker leader Mohammad Yunus has announced elections in April 2026. After months of political pressure to contest polls in the country, Yunus has now announced that the elections will be held in the first half of April next year. Yunus made the announcement a short while back during an address to the nation. The election is being held 20 months after a student-led uprising in Bangladesh overthrew the government of deposed Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina in August 2024. But once a caretaker government was set up under Mohammad Yunus, the interim leader repeatedly refused to set a date for elections, saying that the country needs to undergo reforms first before polls can be held. And that's the news coming in from Bangladesh, where the caretaker leader Mohammad Yunus has announced elections in April 2026. In other news, a fiercely contested by-election in Scotland has ended, and it has given victory to the Labour Party of UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer. And that's the news at this point of time, where a dramatic victory for Prime Minister Keir Starmer's Labour Party in a much-needed political boost after months of falling support. Labour's Davy Russell won the seat of Hamilton, Larkhill and Stonehouse in the Scottish Parliament, narrowly defeating the Scottish National Party. Despite a low media profile during the campaign, Russell secured 8,559 votes, ahead of the SNP's 7,957, while Reform UK finished third with 7,088 votes.
This community has also sent a message to Farage and his mob tonight. The poison of reform isn't us, it isn't Scotland, and we don't want your division here.
The by-election was triggered by the death of veteran SNP leader Christina McWelly, who held the seat since 2011, but the competition quickly escalated, becoming a flashpoint. Reform UK leader Nigel Farage drew widespread condemnation, repeatedly referencing the ethnicity of Scottish Labour leader Anas Sarwar, who is of Pakistan descent. Sarwar lauded the result and says people voted for a government in which they believe.
Look, an incredible result, and I think it demonstrates that something is happening right across Scotland. Look, I'm going to reflect not just on the result, but the conversations I've been having on the doorstep. And I think it's obvious that people do want a UK Labour government to go further and faster and improving their lives, but they also want an end to this SNP government that has done so much damage to Scotland.
For Labour leader and UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, this victory brings a moment of relief. After his general election landslide last year, his party had struggled with the fallout from tax increases, welfare cuts. In a statement, Starmer said, and I quote here, "People in Scotland have once again voted for change." He further added that Labour is now poised to turbocharge delivery if voters back the party on both sides of the border next year.
Have made heart-wrenching sacrifices.
And for more on this, our correspondent Ollie Barrett has sent us this report from London.
We all found the rules.
It was a very close win for Davy Russell, but one that he and Labour are absolutely delighted with. Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, has hailed the win, and he believes, and Anna Sarwar, the leader of Scottish Labour, believe that when Scottish parliamentary elections happen next year, it means this shows that the Labour Party have a chance of taking power from the SNP, the Scottish nationalists, in that election. And they are doubly delighted because there had been concerns that they could actually come not just second but third in this race behind Reform. Now, Reform, although they didn't beat Labour in this particular by-election, did get around a quarter of the vote, which they say is an incredible achievement.
And shifting our focus to India now, where Indian actor and politician Kamal Haasan has now filed for his nomination in Rajya Sabha. In the presence of Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin and Deputy Chief Minister Makal Nidhi Mayam, MNM President and actor Kamal Haasan has filed his nomination for the upper house of Parliament. For those unaware, Kamal Haasan launched his party back in 2018. In the 2024 Lok Sabha elections, MNM did not contest but campaigned for the DMK-led India bloc in the state. The DMK allocated one Rajya Sabha seat to MNM, and its founder Haasan was earlier named as the contestant. Haasan's political update comes amidst the controversy surrounding his latest release, Thug Life. The movie faces a ban in Karnataka after Haasan made a remark claiming Kannada was born out of Tamil. While the actor has issued an official statement explaining the context of his comments, the High Court has expressed dissatisfaction with his refusal to apologize. As for the movie, Thug Life is helmed by Mani Ratnam and marks a reunion of the cinematic duo after nearly 38 years. The Tamil language gangster action drama co-stars Trisha Krishnan, Abhirami and Ali Fazal, among others. And with that, we now slip into a very short break. Thanks very much for staying with us. You are watching Race to Power. Stay tuned.
The stress of our world can take a toll on our physical and emotional health. Here, in New York's Catskill Mountains, lies a luxurious place of healing called WION Wellness Center. The WION Wellness Center provides 500,000 square feet of natural methods to manage diabetes, hypertension, chronic pain, obesity, depression, anxiety, and other conditions. We use the traditions of centuries-old natural science from India, yoga, Ayurveda, acupuncture, and naturopathy in personalized programs that help you take charge of your own health. A minimum 5-day stay is recommended for best results. Book now at yo1.com.
We're giving an AI-generated video where we can analyze your credit history, your credit score.
It's all about now content. A lot of it is now digital. A lot of TV content is still being watched.
I think it's been a fantastic journey. We have succeeded in some of our original goals, which was to bring credit accessibility to both companies and individuals.
Key milestones of traction under your leadership.
Getting actually a personal check from Mr. Ratan Tata. We got an opportunity to get listed.
One of the biggest things that has changed in Razorpay over last 5-6 years I've been is to be a single product, single business company to a multi-product, multi-business company.
Distinct winds are blowing in Nepal for a return to the monarchy amid a growing undercurrent of public dissatisfaction with political parties and the republic. A severe hunger crisis grips Afghanistan. Nearly 15 million people are facing acute food insecurity. United Nations warns Afghanistan is just one step away from famine. And India's northeastern states battle deadly floods. Monsoon wreaks havoc across the region. All this and much more on Inside South Asia.
WION, India's global voice, the channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide. Because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION, World is One. From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening, as we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.
Hello and welcome. You're watching WION World is One. My name is Mohammed Saleh, and let's start this broadcast by taking a quick look at what is making headlines at this hour. Now, Russia launches a deadly drone and missile strike just days after Ukraine's audacious attack. Footage from the strikes shows missiles screeching overhead, just moments before erupting into a fireball of explosion. The Ukraine's military says that it has struck Russian airfields and fuel reservoirs overnight, its first attack on energy facilities in Russia since the middle of March. And Russia's National Guard says that it killed a man that it caught trying to launch an attack on a military site using drones packed with grenades. This comes days after multiple military bases were targeted. The White House squashes speculation that Donald Trump and Elon Musk will patch up their stunning public feud, saying that the US president has absolutely no plans to call his billionaire former aide. And India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi says that he will attend the Group of 7 Leaders Summit in Canada this month after receiving an invite from the new Canadian Premier. And Israel has warned that it will keep striking Lebanon until the militant group Hezbollah has been disarmed, hours after hitting South Beirut in what the Lebanese leaders are calling a major and a clear violation of a November ceasefire. And Bangladesh will hold elections in early April for the first time since a mass uprising overthrew the government last year. The interim leader Mohammad Yunus makes the announcement.